Hi, my name is Ed, and so what I'm going to do is I have been taking care of my father for a while at home. He's a ventilator patient. It's not COVID related, but he has been at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy for a while. And there are certain things that we have managed to put together or build to make our lives easier and to make him better, to produce injuries, to prevent shoot. Infection, things like that. So the first thing I've got here is you see this piece of PVC pipe. Now when you're in the hospital and you're on a ventilator, the hospitals actually typically have a ventilator support stand that comes with the ventilator. What I found in the SNFs is they tend not to use them. They cost money. And the insurance companies do not provide them for home use because they cost money. They really look like, if you're into metalworking or machining, a very large version of a magnetic base indicator support stand. And the cheap ones look cheap and the expensive ones look a little better, but they're still cheap and flimsy. They just cost a bunch of money. Cheap ones might be $300, expensive ones $1,000. They're medical devices. So this is a little bit of PVC pipe. So we're going to bring the camera in a little bit closer and show how, this is the ventilator circuit, of course. The ventilator pumps the air into the person. And this is what I have come up with. This is what has worked for me. You got a piece of PVC pipe with some hose clamps attaching it to this side bracket. So when you raise and lower the head of the bed, instead of this being attached to the ventilator, like the commercial stands are, this one actually moves with the person. You can see that I made it so that this hooks underneath here, and so when you are adjusting it, of course if the tubing is supported here, you can kind of work on it and then clip it in place where you need it to be. You see it's just a couple of pipe elbows, goes up, around, and I've got another one for his bed in the bedroom because his bed in the bedroom is a commercial adjustable bed, slightly different. So it required just a little bit of a different setup, and I can show you the differences there in a minute. And there's one other thing on this, and that is, so the clamp that I made here, so I made this nice clamp, but truthfully there's an easier way to do that, and that's with a rubber band. Hold on a second, we're going to pause the video for a second, and we'll see what we can... Okay, so we're back. So of course, Father was a tool and die maker. I've spent far too much of my life engineering things, but so this clamp is one of those things where when I would design something or build something, I'd run it by Pops, and he'd always say it's too complicated. It's got to be simplified. And so this clamp is a complicated thing. It could be simplified, and I want to show you how it could be simplified so you don't even need the clamp. So there's a rubber band. You put the circuit in here. You take the rubber band. You go like that, and now it's just the PVC pipe by itself with the rubber band will basically do the same thing. So very low skill level required in order to manufacture such an apparatus, and because this supports the weight of this tubing, and when you've got somebody that has a tracheostomy, there's a hole punched in the throat, and there's a piece of plastic in there. So any pulling on the side would create sores or pressure ulcers, and by supporting the weight of the tubing like this, we have not had any trouble with that. In addition, for infection control, any movement in and out of the device would drag stuff basically straight into the airway. It's a direct path right to the lungs. So that would have a massive increase in the likelihood of infection. So by supporting it properly, it's also an infection control. So that's the first thing. Now, of course, you see this, my mother sewed this up. This is a little carrier that goes on the side here. So you can put pens, thermometers, scissors, the other things that you might need to work on somebody here. I'm just pointing this out because it's here and we're already in frame. We have a trapeze set up over the top. We've got a bar that he could grab onto, pull himself up, help move himself around when he's in bed. That's something that has been very helpful. And this has a pulley system, so you can position it exactly where you want by taking these ropes and going like that. Now the thing about this one is that if you wanted to build something like this yourself, I'm not going to give you the details. It'd be the sort of thing where you're going to have to figure out how heavy somebody is and what sort of support you would need for their weight. And so you'd have to take on that liability yourself in order to do something like this. The same thing goes with, so oxygen bottle, you see there's an oxygen bottle right here on the side of the ventilator. And this gives me the opportunity to actually give him an oxygen boost or run a rescue bag, or what's called an ambu bag, off of the regulator on this oxygen bottle. Additionally, that now makes this portable because normally there's an oxygen concentrator hooked up to this that requires an extension cord going to the wall. So I could actually hook up the ventilator here for supplemental oxygen, and this is the sort of thing that would allow me to just wheel the stand with this supplemental oxygen. Now, there are plastic things like you see here that are commercially available. And again, super expensive. I tried to buy some, and the one place that I found that was actually willing to sell them wanted $300 for these 2 little pieces of plastic. Now, that's something else. I'm not going to tell you how to build that one because this is an oxygen bottle. If this falls off the ventilator stand and breaks and causes havoc, I can't take liability for that. So this is the sort of thing where if you can figure this out and you can take on the liability yourself, that's your own deal. But the oxygen bottle sits in there very securely, just like that. And like I said, this is actually based on a commercially available thing, and it works actually quite well. So this gives you the ability to put supplemental oxygen right here on the side, gives you an oxygen boost that is more than you can provide with an oxygen concentrator should you need to do so, and it also makes the stand more portable so you can move it with somebody. All right, so that's everything on this stand, and then of course this is a hospital bed that's provided by the insurance, and in his bedroom he actually has a commercially adjustable bed, and it has a slightly different setup on it, so I can show you the differences there. And then something else I'm going to show are the things we have on his wheelchair. Go. Okay, and here we are with the bed setup in his bedroom. Now what we have here are 2 commercially adjustable beds side by side, so they're individually adjustable. We have modified them, and you'll see here we have wheels. And the wheels allow us to move the beds around, so no matter what happens, we can separate the beds, roll them around, and work on things. That really makes it so that we can get access wherever we need to. As a commercially adjustable bed, this doesn't have the side rails attached to the portion of the bed that raises and lowers. This one here came from a medical supply store, and this one just goes underneath the mattress in the middle of the bed. So as you raise and lower the head, this doesn't move. So we're showing the PVC pipe here for our vent circuit support stand. It actually has a longer piece in here so we can provide more adjustment to get the angle we need to optimize the location of the vent circuit. In addition, so we have a nice padded headboard here, which is attached to the wall. And as I said, the bed's on wheels. One of the things that people tend to do when they're in bed in a hospital situation is slide down, because you've got the head of the bed raised and they just kind of go down with gravity. So pulling them up is a thing that you have to do from time to time. So we can easily move the bed like this, grab a draw sheet under the person, right? Come down. One person can pull up a person that way. And with the wheels, things roll around very easily. And again, padded headboard here, protecting the head. So this is the bed setup that we have in the room. Slightly different because instead of a hospital bed, it's a commercially adjustable bed with an add-on side rail. And so that is how we have the vent circuit support stand set up to work with both of the beds that he has, so he can transfer from the bed in his bedroom, where he spends the night with his wife, and he can hang out in the living room, either in a chair or in bed in the living room, depending on how he's feeling. All right, thanks for watching.